The last 3+1. Shout out to our producers. Unbelievable way to tee up, not saying the word that is copywritten.
3+1.
What did you say? That was hilarious with the 16. Sour?
Sour 16.
The sour 16.
Opposite of sour 16.
You got something for me for the last four? We're allowed to say last four.
No, I don't have anything off the top.
I'll come back
Semis, whatever.
So we have a fascinating matchup here on both sides. We have Florida going against Auburn, SEC rematch. We got Duke dancing against Houston. The Shire Sampson history there. You know, veteran on the block, Sampson, and the new young gun, Shire. And then on the women's side, the 2-seed UConn, Sean, is actually laying juice, depending where you shop, as the favorite. And then it's 3-1 seeds. It's Texas. Madison Booker leading the way for UT there in the last four for the first time in over 20 years. We got, of course, SC, South Carolina, going for 3-4. Shout out Don. And we got, of course, UCLA. New kids on the block, Lauren Betts. Unbelievable two-way center. And UCLA making some noise. So UCLA is getting 8.5 against UConn in the last four. And then SC Texas. Now, staying on the women's side, SC Texas has danced 3 times. And in the SEC championship, South Carolina smoked them by almost 20. So in a scenario like that, where you got a few pieces that, kits, a couple of these ladies that won last year with Staley going against a team that hasn't been
UConn,
there.
South Carolina.
And I think that's what I picked, and that's where I'm going with it. It's going to be an unbelievable all-time matchup. But I think it's UConn, South Carolina to the window.
Yeah, they're the two best teams.
What are you rooting for if it's Beckers and Gino, and then it's Staley and these girls going for 3 and 4 years?
Beckers for sure.
Yeah.
For Paige to come off, people forget, man. She was the original Caitlin Clark. Almost.
Oh,
it was like before Caitlin Clark, there was Paige Beckers. I knew Paige Beckers before I knew Caitlin Clark was.
But she got hurt.
If I'm being honest, and she played ball, then she blew her knee out. She ends up coming back, and to be back where she's at, doing what she's doing, 30 every night.
Every night. SGA of the women's tournament?
She reminds me of, like, Devin Booker. That's her game.
I like that. Lights out mid-range?
Lights out mid-range, any space. The form you could fit in a phone booth, very clean, up and down, no wasted movement. And it's pure. Got an edge to her. She chirps. I'm rooting for UConn and Paige just because I want to see her in the Natty. And then, of course, she'll make her way to the league. But it's been awesome to see a lot of these college players be able to stay, be able to make some extra coin. Yeah. She's got a lot of sponsorships and deals, brand deals that she wouldn't even have been allowed to have 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So maybe when she first came into college, she probably couldn't get the deals, and then now she's fully loaded. AT&T, she's got
it's great.
Some big time sponsorship. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing Paige play some ball.
I want to get your 2 cents
2 more times
on the men's side here. Now, it's been the tournament of favorites here. Great research by our guy Pete. In the last 2 rounds coming into this, favorites are 8 or more. Add to what the first 2 rounds were, which makes 21-0 straight up in the tourney, tied for the second most straight up wins without a loss of 8+ point favorites. Just rare air for chalk. Also, we got 4-1 seeds. Hasn't happened since 2008. I want to get your 2 cents on Duke, Houston. I think it's a more interesting matchup. You got a clear big 3 with Knipple, Proctor, and Flag with 2 Gs. And then you got the number 1 defense in the game. At first half D, they allow 25 points a game by half all season. You got Cryer, the senior, on his way out. Talk to me about how you cap and how you look at clearly the best offense left, in my humble opinion, in Duke, and the best going against the best defense in Houston.
It's not being talked
about.
Long
pause, baby.
Because it's not being talked about. Your whole thing with the Thunder is they're young. Knipple's a freshman. Flag is a freshman.
Sure.
No one's really talking about that stuff. We know Flag is generational, they say. We'll see how it translates to the league. But, like, right now, as a college guy, he's been awesome. Yeah. Big-time impact. And he'll be in rare air as a freshman. He comes, one and done, wins a title, and leaves.
Laid about 6.5, by the way, this game.
Yeah. If I'm Houston, this is a more of a mental game than anything. I think when it comes to possession by possession, Duke, from what I've watched all tournaments, if you get in the half court, they're just going to suffocate you. They're too long. They're too big. They get out and run, and then they have guys that can shoot it.
Right.
You have to run, and you're going to have to create some disbelief. Maybe it's not possible in a guy like Cooper Flagg, but you're going to have to create some type of disbelief in Knipple and Proctor that this moment is, you guys are, Proctor's a junior, but like Knipple is a freshman. This moment's a little too big for you guys.
Well, game to game, like if this is an NBA thought, you win against Bama, who's the number one team in the country in points per game, and you beat the brakes off. I mean, Sears had 10 threes in the previous round against BYU. He had 6 points.
It's perimeter D.
So when you go against
Lights
a team
out.
that's run and gun like Bama that puts up baskets galore, puts up 85 in their sleep, and then you go against a team that's almost the opposite, slower, physical, and want to play half court on both sides and smother you on D, do all the little things. Is that one of those kind of tough game to game from a Duke lens kind of stylistic hurdles that we got to really talk out here?
Of course, and because Duke has shown if you guys want to play a shootout, we could do that too. Well, we could score 100. Right. Like they've done that multiple times throughout the conference tournament and the tournament.
Sure. First to 60 though. First 65.
That's
like
what I'm saying. They haven't been in a first to 60 truly grinded out possession by possession game recently. And that's when things get really tight.
Now,
booties get real tight. 60-point game, 4 minutes left, and every single possession counts. And you're a freshman. And you got to go to the line.
Absolutely.
So that's when stuff could change. That's probably the only way Houston would have a chance. But, yeah, get him in the half court. Just make things ugly.
I think this is what you're getting at, too, Alex, on the score thing of, like, this is probably an easy under call if we're betting it, because I mean,
potentially. I'm pulling up your research from yesterday too, because there's some more gems I got to shout out.
Houston against Tennessee, they allowed 15 in the first half. I tuned in like at the end of the first half. I thought the clock was wrong because they only had 15 points. They shot just 28% from the field.
That's
locked them down.
Locked them down. So in this spot, the coach that has more cachet and more experience absolutely shows up and shows out. So 73 head coaches have entered the four or the title game with a 2+ Final Four appearance advantage against their opponent, which would be Sampson over Shire. Those coaches are 47-26 straight up, 38-33-2 against the spread. Of those 73, 16 were listed as a dog, which would be Houston, 6-10 straight up, 10-6 against the spread. Just want to throw that out there because Sampson's been there and done that, but he hasn't gotten over the hump.
Yeah, those are great numbers.
Is there any advantage? Is there any mental edge that Houston can lean on?
The experience edge is all Houston side, and the talent and cohesiveness and how Shire has them wanting to play basketball, they've been able to do with no resistance from anyone.
So which way are you leaning to put a button on this game?
Duke. Just off of pure talent, and it looks like Flagg is one of those guys that shows up in big moments and doesn't have any issue.
Yeah, Pete found one of 3 freshmen to ink 30 in the tourney for Duke ever. Only 3 guys have done it. Zion being another. All right, let's jump to Florida.
Who's the third? Can you guess the third? It's
who is
Cooper Flagg, Zion, and
JJ Redick.
No.
Jason Williams.
Jared McCain, Mr. TikTok.
Mr. TikTok. That's
Bucket.
Great. So Florida Auburn, this is fascinating. I'm in a digital war with Florida. Shout out Freezing Cold Takes. So Florida's been a terrible cover in the tournament, and there's like a ton of research supporting why if you don't cover, you don't win. 0-2 ATS to start. No one had done that and won it all since Arizona in 97. Now they're 1-3 against the spread. That's just the second team to even get to the 4 or worse since 2000. That would be 2015's Kentucky. And then Pearl's second appearance, Todd Golden's first. How does that match up? In tournament history, the coach with more experience in this round, 75-46 straight up. Having said all that, they danced earlier in the SEC. Florida was a double-digit dog, and they smoked them. Auburn's been the better tournament cover. Florida clearly hasn't been covering. This is a 2.5-point line.
Both teams been touch and go the last couple rounds. They easily could both be at home watching something.
Yeah. Talk to me about Florida. Kind of seems a little Destiny-ish. And then obviously Auburn, we all know where we were when Bruce Pearl's club fouled Kyle Guy in the Virginia game. So, like, there's a lot of those guys on that team, this team too, seniors for Broom and the boys.
Dude,
for Auburn.
Auburn's
what do you think about
Auburn's
this matchup?
age of their starting five is absurd. It's like it's like 23, 24, 25, 24, 24 or something.
It's like higher than the Thunder's average age.
Yeah, seriously.
That's exactly
so. That's honestly what you have to lean on when it gets to these spots.
The veteran.
Just experience, the veteran, the willingness.
Because Florida's seemingly the better basketball team. And the splits, I did look at the BetMGM splits fresh off them. Sharp money's on Florida, money line. 2.5's not a little more in the middle, but it's over like 75% of the money or 70% of the money on Florida.
Who's the lefty on Auburn? The little guy, the guard?
Top of my head.
Been cooking.
I know what you're talking about.
The special thing about basketball and players, and this comes with age and experience, is that I always found it awesome and interesting that you have to have guys that are willing to go 3 for 15. There's guys that will never go 3 for 15 because they just won't continue to put up jump shots.
Yeah.
They have that guy, help me out with his name, the lefty.
Pettiford?
Yeah. Doesn't care.
Yeah, he throws.
I'll just get it up. And if I'm feeling it, great. If not, doesn't matter. But
Kings basketball
I'm willing to put up shots. And that's what you're going to need, guys that are willing to put up big shots and big moments. And that's what's always special about. Typically, a lot of those guys get hate. Like, this dude's going to shoot us out of the game. But, man, some guys shy away from the rock and don't want to shoot it. Pettiford's not one. So that's the more interesting matchup because
what do you think this? Yeah, what do you think?
Veteran-laden and
what do you think this SEC rematch comes
does
out
seem to have a little bit of juice, like they're destined to win.
16-2 run on Texas Tech. They were done. They were smoked. So yeah, if you're leaning one way in this, you can just give me a straight up pick here.
I'll take Florida. It's tight, man.
Duke Florida's probably
the number
what
one
the people
matchup
want
throughout the brackets.
Just like South Carolina, UConn.
I need Duke to win my bracket.
Oh, you'll win a bracket.
It's only like four homies. But
I was all excited for you.
A little cheese, yeah, a little cheese on the line though.
All right. So you got Duke over Florida.
Yeah.
And you got UConn over SC.
Yes.
I like it.
Shout out Paige.
I'm gonna go. I kind of want to see South Carolina beat UConn, but not sure it's going to happen. SC, Duke, man, chalk of the tournament.
Chalk finals.
When we first talked tournament on Juice Bar, obviously brackets busted long
ago.
Oh,
God, St. John's.
Sean, you called the Final Four. You had the all one seeds.
Wow!
Congrats to that.
He doesn't watch ball, but he lives ball.
Chalk. Well,
yeah.
First time since 2008, man.
Reading a lot of things going into it, the better teams were a lot better than that. The mediocre, like the 1 seeds compared to like the 4 was a bigger gap than typically.
It's a tournament of upsets, though. How did you not take the
bait?
Let
me ask you this. Speaking of that, thank you for bringing that up. What do you think of this dude, Oz the Mentalist?
He picked it.
Have you seen this guy?
Didn't he pick the Elite Eight?
He picked the Elite Eight. They did the
unbelievable.
They did the thing where he picked the Elite Eight. Everybody, Barkley, Ernie, Clark Kellogg.
Yeah,
they all signed it on this USPS folder, and they said, I'm going to come back for the Elite Eight, and we'll open it.
And he picked it.
He picked it, and then picked the right Final Four. He said this will be the first. He had the Elite Eight, and then had this team to beat this team, this team to beat this team, this team to beat this team, and had the Final Four picked.
That's the same guy who
he's unbelievable.
Yeah, McCole Hardman. Remember last year in the Jets camp? And McCole.
Oh, yeah. So what did he do with Hardman again?
Hardman said, "We're going to the Super Bowl, and we'll beat the Niners, and I'll score the game-winning touchdown." it wasn't the Jets, but it was the Chiefs.
Because he got traded.
Yeah.
That's eerie.
Dude, this guy's insane.
Can he predict tomorrow's Yankees game for us, please?
He did.
like to pay my utility bill.
In the same pregame episode, and in that same envelope, he put a player from Michigan State, Thompson, I think is his name, and he asked Charles, first of all, meaning Michigan State would have had to make the Elite Eight.
Right.
He picked a player on any roster in the Elite Eight and said, Barkley, I'm thinking of a player on the Elite Eight, any team roster. Who is it? And he goes, all right, I got a guy. And then the mentalist goes, okay, I want you to change the guy. Change it to someone else. So Barkley goes, okay, I got the new guy. And he picked Thompson, I think his name is. And then he had a picture of Thompson in the envelope.
That doesn't make any sense.
It's just
that's ballistic.
It's crazy. I don't understand. He is just on a
Are you a Magic guy?
Other level.
Are you into Magic? Do you believe in Magic? It took me till 12 to not believe in Santa Claus.
No, I don't believe in Magic, but
so I just
something. His ability to read people and their. I'm assuming he had saw Barkley bring that dude up at some point.
Oh, so he knew how to coax him into that.
That's what he does. He had Clark Kellogg reference a board, and he saw where Clark looked on the board, and then does some type of analysis on why he would say something. Like he had Kenny guess, like if you're in crunch time and you want to take a jump shot, at what second do you, in your head, like when you're in the backyard, when you're little, like how much time is left on the clock? And he wrote down 2.5 seconds, and he showed it to everyone. And he said, how much time is on the clock? And Kenny said 2.5. So, like, I don't know, dude.
So could he look at our board? If we looked at our board, would he watch us look at the board, and he'd be like, oh, you stared at Becker's. But
if you go look at all his stuff that he's done with teams,
has he done this before? Has he picked Elite Eight, Final Four, or last four?
I don't know about college hoops, but he's been around and doing NFL stuff for a couple of years now.
He's crazy. Go look up the little off topic, but yeah, me and Oz the Mentalist.
I'm gonna go. I love you called him the Mentalist, man.
That's his name.
No, I know.
Yeah, the Mentalist.
Oz. Thought you were on a first name basis, man.
Before we end here, we said Sean got the last four right. Alex, you want to hear who you picked?
I know who I picked. You don't need to bring it up. I went.
You left Duke out? Oh, Duke lost St.
No, I had Arizona over Duke. Yeah.
So
we'll just say your bracket was busted.
What's one of the other ones?
So
St. John's. I already know what I picked.
I want to know.
I'll explain.
You don't want to explain right now?
Yeah, I don't want to get. I've already been dunked on my own doing. Now I'm getting dunked on again. Yeah, Duke over Zona. I had Houston, Tennessee, so it's not like I was off. Went with Tennessee. Obviously, I took St. John's over Florida. Didn't happen. And my last one was, did I have Auburn? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Nice.
It was right there.
Yeah.
My Elite Eight was not bad. Or my last 8.
College hoops. It only gets fun as it gets closer. 4-1s should mean good basketball. We shall see.
Yeah, be like Sean and be like Oz. Don't be like me and trying to get cute. Chalk City, 3+1. For more Juice Bar, make sure to check out the podcast wherever you get your audio platforms. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple, Google Play. Keep it rolling. More Juice Bar. Stay locked in.